GSL Up and Down matches. I'm Wolf. With me is Caldor. We have already had our first points put on the scoreboard. And so far, things are looking like Kessler Cross is having some trouble here in the group.
Yeah, the SCX Protoss in general. Yesterday we had Mini taking the last place in the group.
He was too concerned about the new iPad announcement to really focus.
Yeah, maybe. Byun, Keen, and Shine winning their first game, and Parting Trap and ASD losing, and now we are heading into the second set of matches. ASD up against Byun. And while you're talking about the iPad, I have to say it once again, Android for the win, brother.
Well, I actually use Android, but I really like Apple products as well. I actually like Android just slightly more than I like Apple products, so much so that I choose it.
I like Apple products because they're very aerodynamic. You can throw them much farther.
You know,
that's the only use that I found so far.
You know, I like the simplicity of the Apple products. When I used to have an iPhone, though, I jailbroke it and I did all sorts of crazy stuff to it. And then in the end, I was like, why am I jailbreaking this? I want an Android product instead.
You can use them as paperweights.
Yeah, you can.
I told this before, I had an iPod Touch, it deleted my entire music while I was in the Outback in Australia. I was stuck in the middle of the Outback with no music whatsoever, and it is boring. And I did it twice. So from that point on, Apple, no thank you.
Is that really the reason?
Yeah, that's the reason. That's one of the main reasons.
Just be careful with your...
I think it's overpriced and not worth it. But that's just my personal opinion. We are heading into the Terran versus Terran. This is going to be ASD versus Byun here at the GSL Up and Downs with Carl and Wolf. Antigua Shipyard is the map, and to the top starts in orange. The Terran player for Team FXO, it is.
FXO ASD.
Very aggressive Terran. Is down a game though in this group. He's up against the Prime player. We call him L sometimes, but he has a W next to his name as he did take his first win. He is
Byun Prime.
Wins and losses. Luigi and Wario.
Okay. Wolf just saw my my look and was like, what? I don't get it. So yes, thanks for the explanation. Sometimes I'm a little bit slow.
He's double? Yeah, we actually have both players going for gas first.
Yeah.
I was just going to say Byun's hair has, it goes over his glasses. You can tell that the way his hair is shaped has been something he has done for years to make sure that it does not interfere with his glasses. And his hair is actually molded as a result of that. And that's kind of his style now. You can see the makeup ladies did a good job with it. But anyway, here is the win rates for this map. Both players actually below 50, but both players also with less than 10 games played on the map.
Currently what we're seeing is, as mentioned, the gas first for both of these players, so we will see a lot of aggression and a lot of action in this game, which I personally really like. And talking a little bit about the... Oh, there we have the win rates for the players in the GSL. Both of them, it's a little bit similar, but with the games that we have for Byun, that is actually quite an impressive statistic with 50% win rate. That's decent. That's really good. So that's a significant advantage over his opponent. And ASD already played the Terran vs. Terran today, and he lost. He lost to Keen.
Yeah, in fact, that stat is actually no longer as relevant because both players, Terran vs. Terran is now different than it was when that stat was made. But this is going to be interesting. Gas first versus gas first. And no scouts for either player, so no one knows what is really going on except us.
You know what I'm really looking forward to later is the Terran vs. Terran between Byun and Keen. The reason being that they played in Code S in Season 3, and at that time...
That starts at my phone. Oh,
sorry. I didn't see it, I was just looking at my statistics here. Yeah, but at that time it was actually Byun who won with 2-1. So that's going to be an interesting match. Yeah. But right now, yeah, Starter stepping the neutral supply depot will definitely result in him not losing any hit points. I don't think that a supply depot can... He could actually just try to damage someone. Well, you walk over the supply depot and it suddenly just moves up and you are just thrown somewhere.
You can't have any more Scanapedes on this map. This map's supply block now.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
You can't have any more toast spots. But right now, both players are doing the exact same build with even the fastest possible Banshee because they did the Tech Lab first. The difference here, the one difference, is that Ghost King has done this with 2 gases, whereas ASD has done it with just simply 1. So he wants to be expanding just like he tried to do against Keen. He did fail. You see if things are different this time. Look at this, I mean, even the first Helling for both players is coming out here. Neither player has any information about what the opponent is doing except that the Hellions, they both have a Hellion, that's all they know.
Byun is going for the cloak. As you can see with the extra gas that he has, he starts to upgrade immediately, whereas we have an expansion for ASD, the command center on the low ground. This also gives Ghost King more surface area where he can actually attack with expansion. He can hit the natural, he can hit the main base, so it's going to be a bit more difficult for ASD to defend. And I feel like he really needs a Viking if he wants to do something here. He will not have a proper Marine count. He has 2 so far, and there's the Viking.
Yep, gotta make that Viking. Can't skip it. In fact, Ghost King, they even make a Viking as he sees the Banshee of his opponent fly out after his second Banshee. He sees it now with the Watchtower. Nice vision there that Byun granted himself, just being out on the map like that. And there's his own Viking, as mentioned.
He's forced to build one. He has only 3 Marines, and the Banshee with proper micro can definitely take all 3 of them down.
Yeah, he actually wants to just zone out the Banshee and then lose no Marines. And ASD actually is just like, well, forget this, I'm going home.
Yeah.
He actually is going to go all the way home. After cleaning up the Watchtower, of course. This Banshee has not been able to fire a single shot.
That is a really sad Banshee. It attacked the supply depot.
That's true, yeah.
That's all. But the Banshee pile is now, not going to do anything here.
And this is a big problem. He does not have a turret up yet, and he will not. He will scan here, but if he wants to, he can actually just fly out of it. And there's only 1 scan available. The orbital isn't ready yet.
And yeah, now he can start to take down more SCVs. He's killing another one.
He wants to target down this turret if he can.
Byun is doing a lot with this. He's trying now to fly away, can repair the Banshee, 7 kills, that's definitely worth it. The second one should be coming in pretty soon. Is it already taken off? Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what happened with that Banshee. I know he didn't cancel it. In total though, only 4 workers killed, but he did kill 3 Marines with it as well. And because of this, the game ends up being relatively even because the expansion is up so much faster for ASD, who actually is going to make this Banshee go to work now and will delay the command start even further.
Yeah, really lazy Banshee, but in the end it's forced to do something, so it takes down 1 SCV.
And that Banshee actually, arguably, has just with what it just did, because he still hasn't even sent an SCV down there, has done more damage than Byun's, because Byun's Banshee was cleaned up. He barely used any energy to defend it. I guess he flew into the turret. Let me see if that turret has a kill. No? I don't know what happened to that Banshee, man. It's a story that will never be told. That is the real sad thing about that Banshee, man. Nobody knows how it died, where it went. Is this it? Is this the lost Banshee?
I don't know, we have 2 now, I feel confused.
Maybe when we looked at the unit tab, see, Detective Wolf was on the case here, maybe when we looked at the unit tab, it was 1 because we stopped looking at the other Banshee and it died off screen, so then this Banshee was still hidden somewhere on the map.
Okay, now you're starting to confuse me. Either way, we have now 1 Banshee going at the Sea Shanks. Needs to be careful that he doesn't go right into the range of the missile turret. And now another scan being dropped so far. No, killing a lot here.
Yeah, he needs to just pull these Marines back to the tower. And that was a short-lived Banshee.
Yeah, but still, in total he killed a lot of SCVs, he killed Marines, he forced scans. He's doing a good job here. Byun definitely playing well. He's already in a 1-0 lead in this group, whereas ASD lost his first game. If ASD is now also losing to Byun, then that's going to be a very tough road that he has to go. So that is a pretty decent push here for ASD, but I feel like Ghost King, aka Byun, is going to be ready for it. He should definitely change this idea that he uses in the game. That's becoming very confusing for me.
Yeah, I think it's probably just the same account he logged in on once when the GOM gave him, and he already used the name change, so I guess that's why he hasn't done it yet.
Mode is not
this
done
is really weird.
Byun.
Byun is actually somehow scaring him away.
Takes down the siege tank. The tank count right now is 3-3.
He didn't use that Banshee. ASD didn't properly. Watching that was actually like watching a mouse chase a cat. I think he could have definitely taken a lot more out with that battle. That was really weird. Ghost King just like, he kept going.
The third base now coming up for ASD, whereas Byun is just trying to get additional... He's getting additional production. He is in roughly the same harvest account, getting in position with his units here. The army supply is 43 for Byun against 32 for ASD.
That's what I'm talking about. Use that air superiority. Try to pick off some units with the Banshee. Make it so that Byun's move out is at least punished in some way.
Byun is a little bit ahead in the +1 attack upgrade. That's something that he might use with the proper timing. He started his own stim and is now even getting... no, actually ASD is getting the first sensor turret.
Yeah, and no stim for ASD just yet. Just started as I said that, so his is a little bit behind. So these two upgrades for Byun, there's going to be a window of time. He may or may not use it, but if that situation occurs, ASD will likely lose the game because not having stim and having +1 against you is just insane.
He's just falling back now, trying to take his own third base. ASD will be a little bit more successful with that, especially since he's already building his command center at the third base location, at the mineral line. The scan reveals what exactly the army of Byun consists of. So ASD is just very reluctant to attack here. He knows that that's a bit of a coin flip battle.
Ghost King doesn't know the third base is there, but he can assume that based on the movements that ASD has shown him. He still hasn't really made any plans of his own to take his at the third base. He's taking it at his natural instead, so he's going to lose a lot of mining time like that. Great little marine there by ASD, giving him the positioning that he needs to know, where, okay, he might run into my main base like this, or rather run into my third base.
That battle is not really fair. Combat shield against no combat shield. But
with tanks, man, that makes it also a bit unfair.
If the big brother is suddenly going to help you out, then yeah, your opponent is in trouble. Just thought he was winning, but this...
he wanted to go back and fight, though. He was like, you know what, that wasn't fair, I want a fair fight, but still he lost that one.
Nope.
What is this? These fights just aren't fair, then his friends come and kill him. I guess Starcraft just isn't fair, Caldo.
It's not about fairness, Wolf. Missile turret's on the main base in order to, he wants to make sure that there's just no drop. If there's going to be a Doom drop in the main base, he might be completely out of position trying to defend 3 bases, so the missile turrets will prevent it. Now we have these upgrades done for Ghost King. He could actually attack with a stim upgrade now, but he doesn't know that ASD hasn't completed his own stim. So he will wait a little bit longer, and then they will be on an even upgrades.
Looking at the way that these two players are playing, it's so similar in almost every way. The timings of the upgrades are slightly different, of course, but in upgrades, Byun is always slightly ahead, but in economy, ASD is always slightly ahead. And the longer the game goes on, the upgrades are actually going to be more important, especially as these players approach maxed armies.
The entire time it is ASD who sits tight, who plays passive. Byun is trying to find an opening, and ASD with the second sensor turret now making sure that he knows exactly about the movements of his opponent. Tank sieging up, but still, those turrets are a little bit exposed. He cannot really drop though.
The Vikings are making sure of that. He's stopping the dropping. He also makes it so that Ghost King can't really find a comfortable opening with both sensor towers there and the Vikings for air control. He can see every movement. And that same Marine earlier is continuing to spot with these little move-outs like this.
This is like a graveyard.
Yeah.
That's currently the ASD Marine graveyard. So many Marines have died here.
That's basically the highest point of contention in this matchup when you take a risky third, and that's why they're both just kind of vying for control over it. Because if you have an army there, even if you don't use it, it makes your opponent have to react. Uh-oh, this is scary. ASD getting a little bit too far forward here, and now he's caught out of position.
Yeah, he's trying to siege up now, but he is losing a lot. 1 siege tank down, 2, 3, 4. Byun is committing, is falling back now, but he already killed a lot of siege tanks. Now the siege tank count is 7-4 in Byun's favor.
Sensor tower here was in place. It's going to allow him to get this army over here, but he loses the tower.
And the drop escapes.
Uh-oh. He's trying to find a way around here, and Byun losing a few more units here. He's got to be careful. He did take out the siege tanks, but it was not a good trade for him, and now he's unsieged!
Uh-oh. 1 tank, that's all they loses, but still. That is really scary now. ASD just wants to push out. He still has to drop to the right side of the map that he doesn't use yet.
Another Marine dies in the graveyard of ASD. Trying to, again, find his way home safely. He doesn't want to unsiege to move back. He's actually trying to leave, but ASD has such a strong Marine force that if he gets caught unsieged, he can't go back. Now he's bringing the rest of his army to make sure he's safe.
ASD is playing this really well here. And now he starts to commit into the siege tank range. He's fighting these Marines. He is ahead in supply. Will he be able to force Ghost King back once again? A 20 supply lead for the FXO player. The Terran is looking at a pretty good army composition. The problem is he will soon be behind in upgrades significantly.
Such a great position game here by ASD. Always having those Marines in position to spot for his third base being attacked. Always having the better positioning with his army. really making it so Ghost King can't even walk up a watchtower safely. Uh-oh, he's got to be careful about approaching this.
Yeah, it moves right into the siege tank range, but the Marines, they run past the Byun army of Byun and take down every single tank. Suddenly the entire situation is reversed. We have ASD on 7 tanks against 4 for Byun. The upgrades, most of them are done. They're still on rough, even upgrades. Now Ghost King takes the lead in the upgrade, but it's a little bit too late.
That one siege tank helping out so much for Ghost King, but I don't think he's got enough support. Now the Marines run in.
He's taking down another tank. He's diminishing the tank count of Byun. This is really difficult for the Prime player to engage. A 4th base has now started for ASD to the left side of the map. He has 12 medivacs.
Yeah, exactly. That's the big key here. The 12 medivacs has gotten the extra siege tanks. They're both even on Marines, but with the support of the medivacs and siege tanks, it's so hard for Ghost King to take a fight.
It certainly looks like ASD is getting very close to taking this game. Here comes ASD running in, taking down tank 1, 2, and 3. The Marines of Byun have to engage, are suddenly in range of ASD's siege tanks. And with those medivacs, he can just heal them over and over again. Great position here for ASD, ahead with 185 supply against 146.
He's still making medivacs. He has 15 medivacs counter.
If this continues, every single Marine will have his own private medivac at some point.
That's basically what it's starting to look like.
Yeah, it's like private jets.
ASD is trying to force his way down here. You can see just how fast his Marine army is healed by those medivacs. He could do a massive drop into the main base very easily.
A 4th base now also for Ghost King for Byun, but he needs a little bit more time in order to establish it on the bottom left of the map. But ASD is most likely not going to give him this time. He has a great army and he's moving in once again, taking down the medivac that gave Byun the vision, and now he's engaging a great concave though for Byun.
He's got the concave, he runs in, medivacs can't fire, and this is starting to be very evident here. He's losing a lot of medivacs, and Byun says firepower over healing here.
But in the end, he has to retreat. He was able to close the gap just a tiny little bit. If we look at the resources lost, it's 14,000 against 15,000 in favor of ASD. But this is getting a bit crazy here. ASD is really trying to punish punish Byun. This idea is really driving me crazy right now. 3 to 3 tanks.
Byun has his 4th base up so much later. In fact, he's just now finished, and he's only mining with USBs. And this was again consistently the case with the 3rd base. ASD was up so much earlier. That's why Byun is so behind right now. This medevac is actually the spotter. They're both moving the spotter medevacs forward. There's no Vikings to contest each other, and as Legend is showing, there's none on the way.
The +3/+3 upgrades for Byun will be done in just a few seconds. This is one of the aspects where ASD is definitely behind. So right now, he has to make this work. He scouts the 4th base, and this is really key. Knowing about the 4th will enable him to shut it down and send a few Marines over, whereas he is still mining from the base to the left side.
He may be able to... Does he know now? It looks like he does about the base of ASD. No, he's just moving back. He's trying to get a good angle on ASD's army. ASD, though, comes in here, and Ghost King misses him. Now he's going to lose his orbital. If he actually micros those Marines, and it looks like he will. Yeah, he's going to lose it for sure. There's no way to save it.
Yeah, no way. 4th base is gone. ASD maxed out against the Terran player.
And with all these medevacs,
supply.
All these medevacs on the map, 12 of them, he's going to be able to heal all those Marines that step twice in no time.
And he's going in. The siege tanks are not sieged up. Now they do. And ASD falls back. He knows with all the scouting that he has Marines to the top right, everywhere at the bottom left. He knows there is no 4th base for Byun. He knows that he is in a better position with his economy, that he has just to wait for his upgrades to be on the same level as Byun's, and that time is working in his favor.
Just watch how fast these Marines heal in the middle of the map. If you guys get a chance to watch, it's beautiful. Here we go. Byun wants to fight here. He doesn't have enough siege tank support, though. He loses a lot of units, but ASD walks into a trap. That was... We talked about a graveyard earlier, man, but this is the real graveyard.
Yeah, so many Marines just died. Double command center at the bottom left. He wants 2 additional bases. Slowly and steadily, Byun Prime is pulling his way up the ramp. But here comes ASD once again into the siege tank range. He's falling back in supply. The gap has been closed. Byun is desperate to get another base. He needs mining.
And he comes in again. The upgrade advantage is still in Byun's favor for a few more seconds.
But he lost a lot against those siege tanks.
Yep, +3 is about to finish for Byun's siege tanks while he takes his 4th base in the middle of the map. He wants control of the watchtower as well. And ASD, despite having control of that watchtower, just cannot seem to position his siege tanks properly here.
Now suddenly the upgrades are even for both of these players. Another siege tank sieging up for ASD. Byun is moving in, trying to take it down here. What a back and forth game at this point. But the economy is just so much better for ASD that he can rebuild his units time after time. And now Byun is slowly running out of minerals.
Yeah, he definitely is. We're going to see ASD run forward into the siege tanks again, but he catches a few of them. I just don't think there's enough. Ghost King again breaks through.
I think at this point, Wolf, it's kind of over. If he can hold the high ground and make sure that there is no mining at this middle base, then ASD is going to win this. He just needs to position his siege tanks well so that there's no mining going on.
Yeah, he's doing it decently well so far, but I have to say Byun is one of the best players at gauging an offensive position that I've ever seen. He knows exactly which angle to approach from, just how far he can push those tanks forward. The Viking here is so smart. He's starting to take out some of the units of Ghost King. He can't hesitate anymore. Oh, that was a mistake with his Marines, and I think you may be right. I think this may be it, because he can no longer safely mine from his orbital here.
Exactly, he lifts it and moves away. We have a planetary at the bottom left, and there's just way too much. At this point, just look at the income here. We have suddenly only 127 supply against 184 ASD in a huge lead, still holding the center of Antigua Shipyard. And the center, that's what it's all about. Another Marine at the bottom has finally been killed, but it is so late. And here comes ASD moving in with the Marines, trying to take down the siege tanks, engaging, moving back once again, but not before doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, he did so much there, and now he pulls back again. And at this point, Byun is trying to figure out where to move. He doesn't know, his positioning is so great the entire 2 TVTs he's played, but
he is running out of siege tanks. He only has 3 left against 9. And here we go. These are the last 2 siege tanks. It's over. GG. ASD with a win. Very unfortunate situation here for Byun. Both of those Terran players are now on 1 win and 1 loss.
Yeah. Good play by ASD here. Really nice positioning. But more so than that, his ability to take a 3rd base and hold it was what gave him a lead, and then he was able to consistently push that forward into a 4th base, a 5th base.
The 4th base was never scouted by Byun. Byun had no idea. He knew, of course, there was a 4th at some point, but he never knew exactly where. He couldn't do anything about it. He didn't send a drop over.
He could have walked Marines over, but he didn't. He didn't know.
Yeah, at first he didn't know, and then later on he couldn't afford to do it anymore. So now Byun with 1 loss and 1 win going into the next game, which is a very important one already. Keen and Shine both won their first match. And the winner here is pulling ahead in the group with the 2-0.
Yep. Of course, we saw Keen play a completely different matchup just moments before. The aggressive TVT took out ASD in game number 1. But now he has to shift gears and play against the only Zerg player in the group. Matchup-wise, it's going to be a great one for Shine because he's been practicing for mostly Terrans. Keen has to face Terrans and Protosses of equal ratios. He only has 1 Zerg opponent though. So for him, he probably practiced for this matchup the least, and he may have some sort of aggressive 2-rack strategy, for example, planned for this. The map is in Toon Valley.
Yep, that's going to be the next map that we are going to witness, and of course it will be started in just a few seconds. The commander to the left, our GSL Zerg at the right. He was in the Up&Downs before, was never in Cortez so far. Will he be able to make it through the Up&Downs? And an important match for both of them. Who is going to pull ahead with 2-0 in this group? We're gonna find out right now here at the GSL Up&Downs Group C. Keen up against Shine. The game's brought to you by Carl and Wolf.